Blueface is a man with a whole lot to lose. And chances are the people in his crew do not have much to lose at all. And that's just being real. You know, I don't know who the other people are. Hey, my name is Jamahl Kersey. I'm a criminal defense attorney in San Diego, California. And in this video, I'm speaking on the incident that took place this past Sunday involving Blueface and his crew attacking a nightclub bouncer. The other night, Blueface and his crew were headed out, and apparently Blueface did not have his ID. So he gets to the night spot. The bouncer, basically just like any other bouncer all over the world, is gonna ask for your ID when you're trying to get in. Unlike you and me, Blueface is famous and tries to say, hey, listen, I'm famous, pulls out his phone, Googles himself. The bouncer isn't having it. I'm sorry, I still need to see your ID, which ultimately leads to a guy in Blueface's crew punching the bouncer, which then leads to Blueface, the original guy that threw the punch, and another one of his crew members punching and kicking this guy multiple times. It's caught on surveillance video, and now the case is under police investigation. This story really bothers me as a black man, as a black defense attorney. I hate to see young black men, young black famous men, doing things that put their name in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. And so, you know, as a defense attorney, I get paid to provide advice. I get paid to speak on other people's behalves. I get paid to do legal research. I get paid to express my opinion. And so in this situation, I want to provide some information, because if a young man sees this and is on some level impacted by this and makes some change, then I've done my job in this situation. Because it's not just about reacting to someone who's in a jam because they made a mistake and now we're doing something after the fact. One of the things that I really want to do is to be able to prevent things from happening. There's another video, or I've just said in real life, if there was a way that I would be able to educate myself out of a job, if there was no longer a need for me to be a criminal defense attorney because I've somehow helped so many people avoid the problems that they end up landing in, then hey, I'd be more than happy with that. There's a million other things on this earth that I could do besides helping people once they've fallen into a problem. But for now, this exists. People are still committing crimes. People are still making mistakes. And so they deserve to be represented. They deserve to have their rights protected. But nonetheless, one of the things I want to talk about is anger management, managing one's emotions. There was a video that I did a while back on 3 ways that a person could avoid ever needing a criminal defense attorney. And number 1 was avoiding get-rich-quick schemes. So whether that's selling drugs, whether that's, breaking and entering, whatever it is that a person does to get money by illegal means, if you can avoid that, that's a way to never need a criminal defense attorney. The next thing was DUIs. Obviously, if you're going to be out drinking, whether that's planned or unplanned, you don't have to drive after you drink. You can call an Uber, you can call a friend, whatever. The last one, though, and the one that I wanted to address today, has to do with anger management. You got to be able to manage your emotions. In this situation, I understand. Listen, Blueface he's young. I think he's only around 24 years old. He's famous. I know he's at least famous in the United States. He might even have worldwide fame. He's a famous artist, famous rapper. And there's some ego involved. There's definitely some ego involved. But a person denying you entry into a club should not set you so far off that you completely lose it and resort to violence, end up beating this kid down. Because when you watch the video, this is a pretty defenseless guy. I don't even see him put his hands up. So, even calling this kid a bouncer, I think sometimes when we think of the word bouncer, we picture, a big 6 foot plus, at least 200 plus pound guy. But this guy seemed pretty slight. He wasn't that big, and he definitely was not a fighter. At least he didn't appear to be on the video. And for this to lead to blows, kicks, punches towards this kid just for not being let into a club is very problematic. This was just a very, very, very poor choice, poor decision making on the part of Blueface and all of his crew. This is just not a reason to get upset. It's one night out. If you're 24 years old, you got a lot of one nights out for the rest of your life. I'm 41 years old. I had a lot of nights out. Sometimes, there would be a situation where someone forgot their ID and we just ended up not going out that night, and, you go to a friend's house or what have you have your drinks there, and then it becomes a story that you talk about years later. But to allow this to lead to this situation is absolutely disappointing and pathetic even. And I would say in this situation, you just got to be able to manage those emotions better and respond differently to a situation that you don't like. Blueface is a brand. It's my understanding that Blueface has some sort of endorsements. If he doesn't now, I'm sure that's something that he would want to have in the future. And when you do stuff like this, you put the brand at risk. And I'm sure there's a lot of cats that are eating off of Blueface. He's feeding his family. I think he has a son. He's probably responsible for paying some of the bills of some of his crew, employing them, probably has them doing contracting jobs or what have you. So there's a lot of people who are relying on and depending on this machine. And when you do things like this, you are putting that money-making machine at risk. Listen, make no mistake about it. These, if you watch that video, like I said, there are multiple punches, kicks. In this situation, Blueface could be doing some time, at least jail time, possibly prison time. Realistically, I don't know if he has any priors or anything like that. I don't know his criminal history, but the kid was left pretty messed up. I think he had to go to the hospital, get some stitches. The pictures look pretty bad, and the video just looks bad. And this is just a situation that is unfortunate, that really spun out of control, that really shouldn't have been a story even to begin with. But you got to protect the brand. You can't put the brand at risk in this way. I'm going to tell you a piece of advice that my dad gave me when I was a kid, and even going up into my adolescence. He gave me this advice that I never liked listening to. It actually bothered me that he continued to tell me this, but as I grew older, I completely understood where he was coming from. He would tell me, son, don't hang around bad people. You got to be careful who you spend your time with. And at the time, it upset me, it bothered me, because I felt like he was judging my friends. I felt like he was judging my selection of my friends. And I just, I listened, but I didn't really take to heart what he was saying until I saw years later the way my life played out and the way certain other individuals around me life played out once we were no longer in each other's lives. And you hear these sayings like, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with most, or tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. I'm probably messed that up, but you get what I'm saying. All these different types of things. And so if you have a direction in which you want to take your life, you got to make sure that the people around you are on the same, I don't want to necessarily say level. They don't necessarily need to be on the same level as you, but you have to be on the same wavelength in terms of these major things in life, saying what's okay and what's not. And in this situation, this young man needs to not be around people who think it's okay for them to react in violence to a situation like this. He needs people who are going to say, listen, all right, it's just not happening tonight. Let's just, again, we'll go to a hotel. We could, do a little house party. You could do any other thing besides what ended up happening on that night. Blueface is a man with a whole lot to lose. And chances are the people in his crew do not have much to lose at all. And that's just being real. You know, I don't know who the other people are. You know, the story has been all over TMZ and Complex and all these other news outlets. If the people with him were famous or doing something that important, then, you know, that's something we would probably know. So the reality is Blueface has got a lot to lose. He's running around with a crew of folks who don't have much to lose and apparently don't care and don't mind getting him into a situation in which they all could go to jail. They could potentially go to prison. And now what could have been a wonderful success story now becomes just another sad tragedy. This isn't judgment here. This is just me providing some information in hopes to have someone avoid being in a situation where after the fact they are in deep, deep regret for something that they did that could have easily been prevented or avoided. It's just a little quick something I had to get off my chest. All right, well, you know, if you got something out of this video, please make sure that you like it. You can subscribe to my channel for more information on criminal defense, legal information, and my thoughts. As always, I want to thank all of you for supporting my channel. And until next time, peace.